Hello everybody, welcome back to HBM mod 1710, and today we are working on this thing. The wood oil plant, as you can see, is basically done. We got a lot of stuff here. Check it out. We have, it's basically a ladder. We got 3 sawmills here, we have 4 here. These all divide up the workload of sticks. Not very effectively, clearly. Because why does this guy have like twice as many as the guy above him? And this guy's maxed out already. Like, that is stupid. Come on, man. There's no triple splitter, so like it makes it very difficult to split this 3 ways. Well, this one is split 4 ways, so... And it gets decreasingly split as it goes up, I guess. So the first thing I want to do today is make another fluid heat exchanger. It's going to cost us 4 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know the recipe for the fluid heat exchanger pretty well nowadays because I've crafted like 600 of them for this project specifically. So this should be pretty simple to make. It should cost 4 of those, 16 copper ingots, and 16 of the copper plates. So if I just do this, or no, 16 steel plates and 16 copper ingots, then that should be good. The coker gas here are backed up, which is why it stops working. So if I wanted to get it to work again, I just need to bring over a fluid dumper valve or something like that. Not a valve, it's called just a sewage drain or something like that. If I head over to here, I'll go grab that. We'll just use the ones from the RTG room. Reteg. No, not RTG, this is old boiler, old coking room. It basically held all of the cokers for a long time. Until I moved them all and decided to switch them up, place them different places. Yeah, like over here and at the other place. This will be fun. Coker gas is one of those things that I do not need a big setup for because it only does like one thing, and that is make aromatic hydrocarbons and carbon dioxide, which are both useless. So if you have coker setup, you only need like the centralized coker gas setup would be stupid, honestly, because you could just do like 10 of them for each one. But if you want to do a centralized one, then just stack this up like super tall, have like 3 of these on it. Probably be pretty smart. So here we have the carbon dioxide draining out of this pipe now, which is working out pretty good. Getting rid of our coker stuff. How much coker coal has this made? It's made quite a bit, which is pretty nice. And that makes a lot of pollution as well. Gets the combination oven running because it was backed up on aromatic hydrocarbons. We need to get this thing set up because right now it's not in the condition we want it to be in. We want it to have a second one up top because that way we'll keep up with the stuff it's producing. And additionally, we need to have, well, this splitter splits it like 50-50 up with the other ones, and I need to not do that. I need to get inside there so I can fix that, actually. Okay, there we go. I need to take this and move a bunch of it up top so that way it keeps up with it. Because if it does not keep up with this, then we failed. And we are not doing a good job. Right, so now that we have these guys, I need to make a 3 of these. I need 9 plus 18. So I need to just do... Actually, I could have done 9 plus 9 and then done 9 afterwards. But 27 is what we need. And this will go towards blocks to make a pipe for the actual heat exchanger, I believe. Needs a pipe. Does this? I don't know if it still needs a pipe, but... so, heat exchanger, like right here. Boom. Perfect. I memorized the recipe. So in other parts of the setup, we have, yeah, we have, what's it called? Oh, wait a second. I think I figured out why this is doing weird stuff. Basically, each level splits it in 50. So if we have one go up to here, and then he goes into here, boom. But then he splits with this guy, and then it goes boom. But he could also get split off and then up to the top. And these guys are then keeping up with it on the top more effectively than the ones on the bottom. Because it's not splitting all at once. Like, if it splits all out at once, that would make the most sense to do. Which means I probably need to reconfigure this setup. But not right now. I'm not... Maybe later I'll do that. It would be a fun project for later. I need to set up a coolant loop for this guy and a hot coolant loop for this guy because this is all powered by a Watts reactor. So, which produces like 1 mod every time you turn it on, which is nice. But also, I do dispose of the mud anyway, because it does produce one mud, so I'm pretty sure it will produce a little bit of mud, but not actually much. Coolant is going to be our coolant. And we're going to set it on this side, and then we're going to set it on the other side. Coolant. Like this. Perfect. The wood oil will need to go down this way. So that will be from the top. Like this. And then from the bottom, we will have another setup for wood oil. Like this. Perfect. And then, once we have all that done, we just need to make the actual... Oh, I gotta actually configure that pipe. Wood. Oil. Perfect. Now it should be good. I will need to set up a actual thing on this guy. I only have enough for one more combination oven, so, well, right now, I only have enough resources for that. So we'll only build one, but, hopefully once we get this working, I can show you all how this setup is supposed to work. I basically turn everything... I will get to that in a second. Yeah, you'll hear about me telling you how this works in a second. But first, let's get to the actual combination oven. I don't even know how to make these things right now. How do I make this? So I need logs, bricks, and... Oh, it's easy. Well, the bricks are probably over here. Inside this bin with all the other stuff. No. No. Actually, I don't even know if I have bricks. Do I have bricks? I think I have bricks. Yes, bricks are here. This is bricks. And I will just smelt these up in here. Do that. While that's smelting, we need to make a device to split it. So we need to make a splitter. I will also need to set up splitters on top of the other setup. Completely redesign the other setup so it can actually split things correctly between all three of them. Because it produces like 6 sticks per each plank that it makes, and it produces 6 planks per each log that it makes, and then it produces a little bit of sawdust for all of the sticks it makes. But that's the main thing that's difficult, is getting things to actually work out in the end and be uniform and not have issues. So I mean, yeah, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steel ingots for a splitter, and also 2 of these guys and 1 of these guys. And I don't even think I need to stack the actual tree farm even higher, even though I probably could do that. Well, actually, I have already done that. I don't need to finish the stacking. It does not need to be finished, because the actual stack is already sufficient for actually powering the farm. Like, it doesn't even take much to actually get enough wood to produce all of the wood that you need. Like, look at this. I have 2 stacks of logs, and I probably have a lot of apples as well. 23, and, I mean, this is 64 saplings. I mean, that guy keeps going around. He doesn't need much as far as wood oil goes. He only takes like 100 something, and I don't want to be down here for too long because this place is lethal. Place is very lethal. Come on, come on. Okay, I can get out of here if I go this way, and I don't want to stand. I don't want to stand inside that. That's stupid. Okay. Alright, so I say that the splitter now is actually working. To make this work even better, I just need to add this here, and then add, because it would not work before if I said that like that. If you want to save on the actual top piece, you can use a regular conveyor, which is probably what I'm going to do. And then this piece needs to be like this, and that's done. Essentially, we have finished the combination oven stuff. Except we have not made the combination oven, because we're just fooling around with this part. The conveyor belt logistics. We'll fix those today as well. That's a good idea. Let me see what we're doing right now. We need to actually put these guys away for now, because I do not need them. They are just clutter. This guy is also clutter. Speaking of which, dump this into here. We'll use the conveyor belts ridiculously a lot today. So, these are also conveyor belts, and I also need to take them and take care of them. These also go with conveyor belts. Those are used in the... Hopefully I do not need to make more splitters, because I'm out of stuff for making splitters. I do not want to make more pistons today. Pipes, I guess, can go in here as well. Cables, too. I do have the bin for cables over here as well, but it's not got all cables. It's got some other random stuff in there. Right, so now we can make the actual thing. Because I have my bricks. I have... do I have logs? I have logs. I have logs. Log? 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 Log. Okay, I have a log. So now I have logs. I need one more log, and then I'm basically good. Literally just one more log is all I need. Alright, so I should be able to make our first combination oven? No, it's not our first. Used to saying first combination oven. But anyway, this is like our 90th combination oven at this point, so I mean, like, we are like, what? Super progressed or something like that? 24,000, by the way, is the number that you want to go with to max out these heat exchangers. It splits evenly nowadays, so you do not need to worry about the actual split being controlled by these guys, unless you have something that's like a 1, and the other ones are 24,000. Then you need to have actual worry about that. And the way to actually fix that would be to do a separate loop like this, where you have it run this guy at 24,000, but then waste all the heat that's extra, and then run oil into everything that needs that. So instead of like actually having a straight coolant loop here, I just have a coolant loop that heats a coolant loop of its own, technically. But you can't do coolant because coolant doesn't work for this recipe, or at least like not right now, or in this version of the game, which is sad, but what do you expect? Some things have to be this way. Probably. There's probably a good reason for it. And then we'll just go ahead and throw all this into here. So that way it gets split off. And then we'll throw in the briquettes into here. And then we'll work on the actual conveyor line once it's all done being sorted out. You can see everything is being split evenly between the two. Which is nice. And it should be converting all the sawdust. Yes. They're both at like 39 right now, which is nice. This guy's at 45, 45. So this guy's a little bit behind the other guy, but it'll be even, an even split. The only problem is that our splits on these guys do not work. And this is where it matters when the splits actually need to work. Because over here the splits are kind of also broken. If the splits over there were broken. But on this side at least is kind of... well, that guy's got 28. This guy's got 28. Does that mean they're both working perfectly and I just am stupid? To be honest... Maybe I'm just stupid and I've actually made a perfect system. You know what? Let's fix it back together. I was gonna try making this different, but I'm not gonna do that anymore because I feel like I think it works perfectly now. I definitely think it's working perfectly as I wanted it to. What thing is this? Alright, it's split like this. Right, so if I put this here, I should be able to split into both of those guys, and yeah, that was split like so. Perfect. This guy is able to do multiple at once, by the way. That's the advantage of the conveyor press, is that if you have a constant stream of these guys and you have like 20 of them in one spot at the same time, but not 20 in a stack, then it will do it. Alright, it's time for me to explain what this setup is basically doing. So, I think we've already discussed how this works. We basically are taking this, coking it, cracking it. You have the option of doing a catalytic reformer for the heating oil. But what we're doing is coking the heating oil. That's what we're doing. The rest of this aromatic hydrocarbons is also cooked. It's cooked separately in another coker unit over there. It produces a different material. It produces coker gas, which is kind of useless. And you don't really need to make a setup for this guy, like a specific setup. But this right here is a dedicated setup for coker oil. So any coker oil that I have in the future, I can just pipe in like, bump, 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 pipe here. Boom. And then I can go coker oil to cracked oil, and then get the heating oil, send it back through. That's an even split. I could have sent the heating oil to become engine lubricant, because I do not produce any engine lubricant from this setup. I didn't think about that at the time, but I do need engine lubricant from this setup to actually make the CCGT work right here. This is the CCGT combined cycle gas turbine. It runs petroleum gas at 100% efficiency. Basically 100%, if not more. You'll be producing 800,000 if you max this guy out. What is this? It's going backwards. Ah, I see what I need to do. Because the energy system is weird here. Okay. So, basically, I need to isolate this system with... Okay. Well, it's time to become an electrician today. I guess it's a fun part for today's episode. Since it produces about almost 1,000,000 HE per tick, I will need to do a splitter that controls that and makes that happen in a way that's directional, instead of doing the stupid method of universally powering everything. Basically, this guy needs to be set up so that way energy can only flow through and not backwards. And in this setup, I believe the energy cannot flow backwards, but for some reason it seemed to be doing so. And we're getting an extra 500,000 HE per tick on the reader. So the solution to this is to set up a system like, where is it at? Yes, I know it's somewhere over here, probably. I have the actual diodes, right? A capacitor. These guys can handle 1,000,000 HE, so if I set up 2 of these, it should be fine. And then I also need to add a diode block to this, or no, capacitor block. No need for diodes, they are not going to be useful. Actually, you could probably pull it off with a diode and it'd be fine. I have the capacitor block. Okay, I will build the capacitor block over here. The actual capacitor hole thingy. But anyway, this is a really easy part. I could have done one of them niobium ones. That would have been a smart idea. I could have done that. But what am I looking for? I am looking for insulators. Actually, I have some. Alright, I have insulators. What am I? I'm looking for red copper. That's what I'm looking for. 1, 2, 3. Take 3 of these guys, and then I can just do the system. And there's a person who's telling me to use A2. I'm going to tell you to go. If you tell me to use A2, go. That's it. Get out of my kitchen. You're not welcome here. This is not a place for you. We will never use AE2. Go away. Shut up. This is not how we do things here on this channel. And if you think I will play AE2, then you're wrong. I will never play AE2 for you. And it's that simple. Anyway, enough with that. We've done enough AE2 slandering today, so we've done our good work. We've done God's work here. God's great work to insult the AE2 enjoyer. Yes. But anyway, we will now hook up these guys like so. Now, the actual capacitor, if you're new to HBM mod, or if this is your first time seeing an HBM mod thingy, I'm not even sure why it would be your first time. HBM mod is amazing. But if it is your first time seeing an HBM mod thingy, then, well, here you go. As you can see, it's got 3 HE here. Basically, capacitors are directional, and as long as nothing you cannot power through the capacitor block here, they're actually able to use, it's great for when you need to store energy, but you don't want to use that energy, because it can only go in. But then it can also go out to whatever machine you want. So, like, unlike the batteries where it can go in and out both directions, this can only go in one direction. So if you need to power, like, a fusion reactor, and always have it charged, but not have that energy be going to other things, then you could have one of these guys plug straight into it, and it would be a brilliant thing to do, apparently. But you can check on the wiki for more information about that. It's got the energy system and stuff. Alright, so this guy is almost ready. Let's go ahead and turn on the Watts reactor, and then we'll turn on... Technically, we're using the Watts reactor to power the setup, which is stupid, because the Watts reactor on its own would probably generate more power than the setup could generate. Except, the Watts reactor can actually generate a stable 2 million HE, or maybe even more if you really push it, but I am not pushing the Watts reactor right now. This thing will not generate much energy, but it generates, for some reason, enough energy to get these guys up to 2 million. So, as you can see, setup works, and it splits all of the sticks and sawdust, and does this process the way it should be doing it. It chops the logs, gives us apples and food supplies, which, I mean, is great in survival mode. That's the greatest part of the wood oil setup, to be honest, is the apples, because then you can use the apples for food and stuff. So now it is now producing its maximum capacity of things. And also now producing a lot of charcoal, which I need to go get the actual things for that to deal with the charcoal on the top one. I forgot about that part. The actual disposal of charcoal down in a chute. Now, some people do not use chutes. I do not use chutes in one part of my base. I will go show you that part of the base, and that will give you a good example of when you cannot use chutes. Or when you should not. Or, not when you cannot or should not. It's when you could potentially choose not to use a chute and have it still be kind of valid. So my base in the central or processing setup, we do have a setup like that. where I do not use a chute for the conveyors, which is actually, it's been here for like this for a long time. I was too lazy to make a chute, so instead I just shoot the item off this conveyor into this conveyor. There's no chute here. It just gets shot out here. Basically, same thing, but you cannot get too close to this when it's running. And what does this guy even spit out? He spits out, I believe, what is the red? Just wild card? Yeah, so he probably never does anything, to be honest. So that's your daily lesson when you can conveyor belts and stuff and shoots. Oh yeah, I'm also planning on this video to go up on January 1st, so happy January's Fool Days. January Fool's Day. You're welcome. Anyway, it's time to turn on combine cycle gas turbine almost, because we're at like what, 3,500 of these. So to turn this guy on, you just press the power button, CCG T, not CCG Greg Dick or whatever. Right, so now that this is done, we are now powering up the thing. When it's idle, it does not use any petroleum gas, and it does not get to a temperature where it can produce any energy, but it does make this nice starting up sound, which is very loud. So it uses engine lubricant, so it's your replacement for the heating oven. It is ready to go. As you can see, it is now consuming. So now we'll turn it all the way up to max, and we'll get the maximum amount of energy. Check it out. This thing is getting up to 65,000. It still needs to heat up, and you need to have it enough energy to run constantly. But it's pretty decent, I think, for energy production. It's almost out of petroleum gas. Oh, what is this? It's maxed out the capacitors. There's no more energy production for this thing. It's maxed out. I've maxed out my base's energy storage. Not by that guy. But the whole thing is maxed out now. That means I have like 2 TH inside my base. That is something I never expected to happen. I expected to run out of energy. What is going on with these guys? Are these guys trying fuel or something stupid? Because this guy does not have the coolant loop to do that anymore. This guy is fine. He can still run fuel, but oh, he probably is still running fuel as well. No, these reactors, I guess, are decommissioned. Actually, no, they're not. They're producing xenon, so I mean, that's, I guess, what they're producing. Useless stuff. I've maxed out all of these capacitors, rabbit egg capacitors and everything. Crazy. Right? What? Hold on, this does not make sense. Oh, I did not hook up the cable. Duh. I'm stupid for not doing that. Well, hopefully in the time that it took me to figure that out, we have gotten enough petroleum gas to actually start up the setup again and have it run for long enough to benchmark it. I do not know if it will be able to run long enough for us to benchmark it. That's the thing. No, it's not got enough for us to benchmark it. But I can tell you that this thing I saw producing like 735 or 800 kilo HE yesterday, and then it stopped. So it probably can max out at like the actual maximum combustibility point of 2.47 million HE per bucket. So right now we would have 2.47 million HE. But the thing is that it doesn't consume a bucket every tick. I mean, I don't believe it would. And I don't know what this is controlling. Does this control the consumption rate? Like, does this control if it is consuming a bucket per tick? Because if it is, then we would actually be able to max it out. So, and also, another thing, you can run coker gas in this, and natural gas, and petroleum gas, and syngas, which are weird fuels. No, natural gas is not, well, I guess it is kind of a weird fuel. I don't see many people using that, but coker gas and syngas are kind of weird fuels, because the coker gas itself is what we're making over here. So maybe it would be worthwhile to do a coker gas setup that uses the coker gas for actually power production, doesn't produce as much CO2 for carbon footprint. Instead, it will just burn it all instead of a CCGT, which I think would give you CO2 anyway. I'm not even too sure about that. Yeah, but this thing is producing lots of wood oil now. Or should be producing loads of it. And this thing is keeping up with the wood oil somehow. Well, not really. He's doing a very bad job at keeping up with wood oil. But it is, I would need more cracking towers, I think. Because this guy on the top is maxed out constantly. He like maxes out every 3 seconds. So I would need a second cracking tower to keep up with this. Ridiculous. And considering that I could build like 5 more layers right now, that's messed up. That's like I could build 5 more of these and I would still have this problem. The good news is that it gets a constant stream of heating oil, which is nice.